Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Let's Process That podcast. I'm Emily Christopher.
And I'm Nick Honorkamp.
And we are so glad that you have joined us once again. Again, we cannot thank you guys enough for tuning in every week. It's so awesome to connect with you, to be building a community here digitally. It's a whole new space for us. And so we just thank you all for this incredible first season. I know for me, it has went above and beyond what I had expected. So, Nick, thank you for being a great co-host.
It's been wonderful. When we decided to do this, we had no idea what it was really going to look like. And I was like, let's do 5 episodes. Let's just try it and see, Emily. And if we decide to do something different, we can. And wow, a lot of feedback from people, and we've adjusted to that feedback. I think we just started this because it's something we thought would be interesting and fun. But people have really reflected some interesting stuff back to us that's allowed us to find a little more direction about where we are and where we're going.
Yes. And so with that, this is episode 15, and this is the end of season 1. And again, just as Nick was saying, we've had an incredible experience so far. The love and affirmation and feedback has just been incredible. We said some things on here that we thought, oh gosh, somebody's going to light us up for saying that or whatever. And you know what? Shockingly enough, I have received no hate mail. So thank you all. Even people who have disagreed. Like my mom called me and she was like, that was an interesting thing you said. But it's been great. So with that, some of the feedback that we've gotten is that people don't actually know who we are. And when we started out, of course, the way we market this is through our personal and, of course, the Let's Process That podcast, Instagram and Facebook. But it's really just kind of our networks that we have right now. We haven't paid for any other marketing or anything like that. We wanted to start out just with like organic reach. And so that's what we've done.
Our friends and family.
Our friends and family. And we did have a reel that kind of got a lot more traction on Facebook a few weeks ago. And we got just a lot more response from people who don't know us. And so with that, welcome. Hello. Thank you for listening. But a lady messaged me and she's like, hey, do you have a podcast where you talk a little bit about who you guys are and just like what you do outside of the podcast? Like, I would love to get to know you guys better. And I said, oh, well, all right, let's go there. So this final episode, since we've got a whole season of episodes, this is also one for us to get to know, for you guys to get to know us better. And I even have some questions here where Nick and I will get to know each other better, even though we've known each other for over a decade now. But there's some things on here I was like, I actually don't know the answer to these things with Nick. So we're just going to dive in. Let you guys learn a little bit about us, some funny things, some more deeper things. But first, we'll start out just kind of with a basic introduction. Nick, who are you? What do you do? Who's your family? Like just some kind of like basic stuff.
Okay, so short story on the current situation. I've been married for 32 years, and we have 2 sons. One's 29, and he is married to Cece, and they have our first grandbaby, Rainer. And they live in Houston, Texas. He's a full-time musician. And then I have another son who's 27, who's married to Hayes, and he lives like a mile behind me. I mean, just right down the road. And so after stepping away from being a career pastor, I now work for a very large Christian nonprofit organization in Asheville, ABCCM. I'm the church development director. It's my job to make relationships with pastors and churches, to get to know them, and then to partner with them to do local missions, taking care of our neighbors in crisis. And so I love going to a different church every Sunday. I mean, I was in one church for 23 years, and now I visit a new church every week and probably have visited 100 churches in 18 months. So I feel like I have theological whiplash. I mean, every Sunday I'm in a very conservative or very progressive church. It might be a high church with liturgy. It might be a very down-to-earth church. So it's all over the board. The body of Christ is beautiful, and I love working with pastors. I appreciate the work they do. And that's what I'm doing in this season for a day job. What about you, Em? What are you doing nowadays?
Nice. And if someone hasn't heard in the last couple of our episodes, Nick just finished writing a book.
I hope it's ready by the time we start season 2. The editor,
Hey.
the editor kicked it back to me with 1 million edits that needed to be made. And so I've been going through the grueling rewrite process, but we've been working back and forth. I think I'll have the book by the time we kick off season 2 and other exciting things going on in my world when we get there. Thank you, ma'am.
Ooh, exciting, exciting. All right. So Nick and I, what he didn't mention is we worked together for 7 years.
Something like that.
Nick hired me before I graduated college, actually. Fun fact, 2 weeks before I graduated college in undergrad, he called and offered me a job. So I worked with Nick for 7 years, doing everything with working with teenagers to communications, marketing, digital platforms. I mean, when you work in a church of any kind, you do a lot of different things.
Yep.
I did music, I sang, just a little bit of this and that. And now I work full time in marketing and event coordination. I am the director of marketing and events at United Way of Southampton Roads. I just moved to Virginia Beach exactly 1 year ago this
No
week.
way. Wow.
Yes. Is
How'd
that
that
not
happen?
wild?
Yeah.
I don't know. When I sit and think about it, I'm like, how in the world has it been a year? But it has been, and it's been awesome. I love Hampton Roads, Virginia. It's so wonderful here. It's so different because I grew up in the mountains of North Carolina. Still love the mountains, still such a mountain girl, but loving beach life as well.
Girl, you love your beach, but it is leaf season right now. You should be
I
home
know.
right now. It is peak
I
season
know.
right now.
I know, and I will be home soon, and so I'm very excited to enjoy all that. It's actually the first time I've been homesick since I moved.
Interesting.
Was when everybody started posting pictures of the leaves
Mhm.
changing, and I was like, oh my gosh, I miss home, and so yeah, I'm excited to come back in a couple weeks. Um, I have an incredible boyfriend. His name is Adrian. Adrian is also our podcast producer.
Thank you,
He is,
Adrian.
oh my gosh, yes, patient, kind. We really could not do this without him. He was just in here actually helping us because every week, somebody, either you or I, have a technical difficulty, and he graciously walks us through it. So, and then another fun fact, and I think we've said this on a couple of podcasts, but your son also wrote our intro and outro music, our like theme song. And we'll be looking forward to some new stuff from him soon. So Caleb Honerkamp, is our music provider. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now. We're going to get into some more things about like our hobbies and stuff like that with some of the questions I asked. So that was our little brief introduction. So we talked about our professional things that we do. But Nick, what are some of your hobbies? What are things outside of work that you enjoy?
Well, I enjoy going to the gym. I enjoy being around people that cuss and that think it's funny that I'm a pastor and they're just normal people. And I enjoy getting a good workout in, and it adds energy to my life, and I need it right now. I love to read. I love reading spy books or espionage stuff like that. I'm looking for a sport right now, whether that's volleyball or basketball or kayaking or something. I'm looking for a sport that I can be physically active. I've been hiking a lot lately, like twice. When I say a lot, see, I was in the Marine Corps. Hiking is a totally different thing when you're in the Marine Corps. Once I camped in the Marine Corps, and once I hiked in the Marine Corps, it ruined me for any other definition of the word. But recently, I've done that a couple of times, so I'm learning to do that some. So that's probably my hobbies. I love sports, love watching, love playing, and that's me out. I just do so little of that. I need to add more of rejuvenation to my life because I've always had a big work ethic and responsibility, and so I spend too much time working and not enough playing. That's something that you have a much better work-life balance. So tell me a little bit about that.
I am very passionate about work-life balance.
Mm-hmm.
It is something I have a big boundary about. And so yeah, I love music. I play music here with one of our friends. We locally play around town. and I'm just working on music for fun for the first time in my life. I've
That's
always
cool.
seen music as, I don't know, not just for fun. It's always been like, there's been an end game my whole life with music, and now I just do it for fun. So that's exciting. Um, yeah, I like to sit in my room and play my piano and write music and sing covers of Amy Winehouse. And I'm a go girly. I love an activity. I love a festival. I love a concert. So yeah, every weekend I try to have at least one really fun activity that Adrian and I can go to, or our friends can go to. Love traveling, and I love to do something creative. I like to put my hand to something. I'm currently right now actually looking into pottery classes.
Interesting.
Sarah Rowland, I watched her live. She's an amazing potter. I watched her live on Facebook making pots the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, man, oh man, I want to do that. And we also have another friend, Melanie Robertson, who's a potter, and I've like just been looking at all of their work. I have actually have both of their works in my house. And I'm like, I want to do that. That sounds fun and liberating. And so I think I'm going to start slinging some pots.
I
So
love it.
I'll like update y'all on season 2, because while we're not filming for the next 8 weeks or so, I'm gonna be a pottery class.
That's
So there
cool.
we go.
Get some photos that we can use for the podcast.
Ooh, yeah. You know me. I've always got my camera out. I'm also a photographer, so there we go. And if I keep talking, I'm somebody who literally does a million tiny things all the time. I also just like trying new things. So who knows? Season 2, I may have like 8 more new hobbies. We'll find out. Um, okay, this one's a fun one. If you could only have one food for the rest of your life, what food would you choose to eat for the
Wow. I
rest of your
used to
life?
say if I could have one last meal and I was on a deserted island, I could eat it over and over again. It'd be like fried chicken, mashed potatoes, and biscuits and gravy. But now I eat healthy. And so it's like I haven't had that in forever. Probably, gosh, this one, I'm not even a big pizza fan. I know
Oh,
Tina would say pizza for sure for her. I mean, that would be her go-to. Um,
yeah.
Probably sushi. I like sushi as much as I like anything.
Nick,
What?
that's what I was going to say.
No way.
Yes, I am obsessed with sushi. I love, love, love sushi. And we just found a new spot 1 mile away.
Awesome.
And I'm like, I already told him I walked in. They're like this cute family owned sushi spot.
Mm-hmm.
And it was incredible. And we left. I was like, we're regulars. Remember our names. I love you.
Give us a discount and the good stuff
Yeah.
out of the back.
Right. So yeah, that's so funny. Did you know I think one of the first times I ate like really good sushi, because like there's a lot of mediocre sushi.
Sure.
Was actually with you and Tina. I mean, gosh, like probably a decade ago at this little place downtown Asheville called Champa.
Yeah, I remember.
Do you remember that
Champa.
place?
It's the Thai sushi place. It had Thai food
Yes.
and sushi. It had the best of everything.
The best. I still have not had Thai or pad Thai that good
Yep.
ever.
Yep.
And so, yeah, that was like one of the best sushi, like when I actually had good sushi, because I had a lot of mediocre sushi up to that point.
Sure.
And then I had that and I was like, whoa, this is sushi. Okay, cool. So, well, there you go.
And I remember your last birthday luncheon before you left. I think we went to Watami's and I think we had sushi then, didn't we?
Oh, yes. Sushi special, man. 3 rolls for $9.99.
I know, man. You can't beat it. It's Waynesville.
You can't beat it. Oh, so good. All right. Another good one. What is your biggest pet peeve?
Oh, my number one.
I know one of them.
Okay. Well, one of them is people driving in the left lane, but they're not passing anybody. But my number one pet peeve is making me do something twice. I was going to say that. If I stop what I'm doing and I do something and then, oh, sorry, we weren't recording. Can you come back in and do that again? I'm going to choke you. Okay. My time is precious to me. Do not make me do something twice. And so, yeah, that is my number one pet peeve. What about you?
So that's so funny you said, well, I absolutely knew both of those. But just a second ago, I was like, oh my gosh, did I for sure press record on our audio? Because if we have, and we've not had to start over like really getting into a podcast. We
Right.
had to start an intro over once because I was laughing. But like,
Yep.
I was like, Nick is going to shoot me if we're already like 15 minutes into the episode. And I'm like, oh no, I wasn't recording. So I had double checked. My biggest pet peeve, I do hate traffic and I hate people who don't know how to drive, kind of like you. But honestly, people who are passive aggressive. I would rather someone just be aggressive.
Me too.
Okay. So we went to the Greek festival in Norfolk, and it's like massive, and it was a great time. But it was so funny. This little old lady, I walked up to what I thought was the beginning of the food line, but it was really like wrapped around this giant tent. I didn't know, so she looked like she was taking orders. So I went up and I was like, "Hi, we're ready to take orders," and she was like, "Let me get this straight. You don't want to go over there and wait in the line? You don't want to wait in the food line over there with everyone?" And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that was the food line. My bad. But it was just so funny. And like after we were done, I was like, Adrian, why did she have to be passive aggressive to me? Like she was pretending to be sweet, but she was really mean and she wanted to cuss me out. But yeah, it's just, anything passive aggressive. I would much rather someone be like just flat out mean than to like try to be like sarcastic or like, I'm like, just no.
You and I both appreciate people who are straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather put all my energy into our relationship, working through what you're upset about, than wasting energy on sideway conversations because you can't be straight with me. I mean, that's a waste of my time. I mean, I don't mind sitting here and working through the hard stuff. Don't make me play games trying to chase you down to figure out what you really meant.
Yeah. And I feel like passive aggressive people make everyone else tiptoe around them. You know, it's like, because most people are just like, don't want to put up with that. Deep sigh. All right. What is currently your favorite TV show? I don't even know. Do you watch TV?
I watch sports. There's only two programs I watch, and Survivor and Amazing Race. Those are the two things. I love Amazing Race because I can't imagine getting to go for free to all 8 different countries and compete and see all the stuff. I love international travel, and we've been blessed to be able to travel to a lot of countries. And so the Amazing Race, in theory, I love that show, but I also love Survivor and the sociological play and some of the building trust but lying all the time, you know, that kind of thing. What about you?
Nice. Well, fun fact, Adrian and I have toyed with the idea of us like applying to be on the Amazing Race.
You should.
Because we were like, our dynamic, we're polar opposites, but we work really, really well together. So I was like, So we've thought about it a few times. So
okay, so
we'll
you
see.
would be the driver and he would be the navigator. You would be going, "Tell me where to go. Tell me where to go." And Adrian like, "I think we'll take the third right up ahead," and he would get you there.
100%. Because I know I would be. But see, the good thing is I would be like the people person. So if we needed to like talk to people locally, like go out of our comfort zone, easy. But he's very methodical, logistic. I mean, he's super smart. So I'm like, this could be good. We could win this whole show.
Attention to detail. I bet he'd be really good.
Yes, absolutely. My favorite TV show right now, I love TVs, and I used to watch a lot more movies, but I feel like in the last 2 years, I've gotten really into more like really good television.
Yeah.
And my favorite show right now is House of the Dragon, which is the Game of Thrones prequel.
Don't know anything about it.
Oh, what? You've never even heard of it?
Is it like Dungeons and Dragons or something?
No, my gosh. Oh, Nick, you kill me. Another funny thing is Nick knows nothing about pop culture whatsoever. And I love pop culture. And so I was constantly like making references or whatever in meetings and just my day-to-day jargon. And Nick never got any of my things and still doesn't. Here we are at it's probably the number 1 show right now, but that's okay.
Interesting.
You don't need to know about it. You didn't watch Game of Thrones. You probably wouldn't like Game of Thrones, so it's okay. But yeah, House of the Dragon, as we're filming this right now, we have 2 more episodes left of the first season, and I'm
Uh,
very excited. So I'm very invested. I'm somebody who watches TV shows or read books and becomes part of the story. Like I
hmm
get really invested, and I love character development. Oh my gosh, I can talk about character development and um just any little, I love like tiny details and whatever when it comes to TVs and books. So right now I'm too invested in this show. So there you go. Do you get like that in your spy books? Like, do you?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you're crazy. Yes, I am.
Look,
Um,
I'm busy. I just want to go away to a faraway place. That's all. I'm not trying to
well,
get in the scene with them.
oh, well, yeah. I mean, I use it as like a disassociation for sure.
True.
But I feel like I will get very emotional. Like when I finished, there's a really intense scene in Game of Thrones called The Red Wedding. And after that episode aired, it took me like 3 days to emotionally recover from it.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the kind
That's
of person I
investment.
am. It's investment. All right. I like this question. Would you rather cook, order delivery, or go out to eat?
Now, this is an interesting question because I've really picked up cooking lately. I will go.
Really?
Yeah, I've really started picking up some recipes, trying some stuff, seeing what I like, what I don't like. So I really do enjoy cooking. I just don't have much time for it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't grow up with cooking, you're like, do we even have cumin? What's cumin? I mean, I don't know what that is. And so sometimes you don't have the stuff for the recipe. Then I got to go to the grocery store. Then I got to buy the stuff. Then I got to come back. And 4 hours later, it was close. It wasn't quite as good as I thought it was going to be. So believe it, I would rather go out because I love people watching. I love being around people. You give me a choice between sitting in a log cabin in the woods or sitting in a downtown of a major metropolitan area in a coffee house. I'll choose the city every day. I can get a ton of stuff done, but I love to people watch.
Nice. Well, no surprise here. I also would much rather go out. Bojana, that's Adrian's mom, please plug your ears. I hate cooking. I hate it. I don't like it. I every once in a while will get a whim about twice a year where I do enjoy following a recipe or making something. Other than
Hmm.
that, if I could have any luxury in life, it would be a personal in-home chef.
Hmm.
That is really, really what I want. But no, I'm the same way. I like to go out. I like to see people. I like a restaurant with great atmosphere,
Yeah.
with maybe some live music, great food, great drinks. I just would rather. And then, of course, there's some nights where, getting a little takeout and chilling on the couch is also wonderful. But yeah, if I had to pick out of the three, I would go out to eat every day if I could afford it.
Okay, so you'll like this. I had COVID about a month ago, and a local church pastor sent me a $50 DoorDash gift card, which
Mm-hmm.
I think is brilliant for COVID. I mean, you can't really leave the house so you can get a meal come in. I didn't know what it was. I was like, what's DoorDash? And I had to go online because that's what you do when you don't know what what it is. You Google it. So I Googled
Of
DoorDash,
course.
and it's like a carrier service. Like they bring you food from a restaurant. And I was like, wow, this is amazing.
So let me tell you something really amazing.
Okay.
So obviously I live in a way bigger city than I
Sure.
did before. And our mutual friends, Robbie and Lauren, were visiting.
Mm-hmm.
And we had been laughing and talking. And somebody was like, oh gosh, I would love to make chocolate chip cookies. Like I wish we had cookies right now.
Hmm.
So it was like 11:30 at night. And I was like, oh,
Wow.
I'll just DoorDash it because we have, it's like DoorDash has their own little like market. And so I was like, oh, I'll just DoorDash it. So I DoorDashed like cookies and ice cream and all this stuff. And Robbie was like, what? You just had like cookie dough brought to the house at 11:30? And I was like, yeah, isn't this great? And they're like, wow, we don't realize like what we're missing out on. So not only can you get a meal, but you can also get all kinds of stuff. I have not stepped foot in a grocery store to like do a full grocery haul. Like I'll swing in and grab like creamer, but I always get my groceries delivered.
That's hilarious. It's just a different world, and I'm just not.
Oh,
I'm
for
not
sure.
used to that yet. So, but anyway, I
Yeah.
thought you'd appreciate that.
Oh,
DoorDash. What's
absolutely.
this?
Oh gosh, Nick. All right. When you are in a bad mood, is there something that can make you feel instantly better?
When I'm in a bad mood, I usually want one of two things. I either want space that I just have been running from pillar to post and I just need some space. Or two, it's always nice when someone recognizes a legitimate contribution I've made. Because so much of my life is about contributing. When someone says, hey man, looks like you're having a rough day. After all the stuff you take care of, or appreciate all the work you did last week, did that make sense? That does a lot. When you validate my contribution or when you give me space, those are the two things that work for me in this season of my life. Does that shock you at all?
No, not at all.
All
Not at
right.
all.
What about you?
For me, wow, I feel like yours is so like deep. Mine is very simple. Two things, like you. And I know you're gonna roll your eyes, but my cat, like I can't be mad looking at this beautiful cat. He's so cute.
He
I
causes
just
you so much trouble, though.
Oh, for sure. He's a tiny terror, but he's so loving and sweet and wonderful. So, my cat Banksy, or going and doing something like I can get cheered up real quick and get like a nice dopamine boost from going to a coffee shop and getting a nice coffee. And especially if Adrian's with me, that's even better. He has like constant peace and like
Yeah.
just level-headedness, so that also helps. But yeah, man, a cat and a coffee, can't be upset. I can't be upset. I brings me right
So,
out of a dark place.
by the way, you said that Adrian is peace. And you said
Mhm.
in one of our earlier episodes that in this season you want to be led by peace. And I thought that
Mhm.
was very interesting how congruent that is in your life right now.
Absolutely. It's all flowing together. It's all intentional for sure.
Good.
We've kind of answered this one. Do you pay attention to current events?
I do watch the news every once in a while. ABC has this amazing formula for their 6:30 national news where they
Mhm.
scare the hell out of you for 9 stories, and then the last story is made in America. And I just find it just so I can't do that every night.
Yeah.
I got more important things to do than worry about North Korea or whatever. And it's amazing that every night they find 9 horror stories to talk about for 29 minutes. And then the last minute, they'll tell you some, patriotic, story or some feel good story. And I'm just like, no, I don't keep up with some of that. Like, I do watch some YouTube, which sometimes will lead me into, like you said, Kanye West the other day.
Mhm.
I had watched an interview where they talked about Kanye about a year ago. And then recently he had that other interview where everybody's talking about, and I watched it because he is a pop figure. He's a culture figure right now. And I wanted to hear what he had to say and so I sort of like, I'm a late adopter on social current events. So when it comes to social current events, I'm a late adopter.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and like I said, I definitely knew that. And I keep up with pretty much, I mean, like I said, I love pop culture. I feel like it's another disassociation thing for me. That I just like I've always been interested in it even when I was like in middle school. I loved all the magazines and like knowing what was cool and trendy.
Mm-hmm.
Still do. And then when it comes to like news and politics and that kind of thing, I'll consume little bites here and there, but like how ABC does, I don't want to consume terror and become jaded and nasty. And I feel like the more I do that, not good, not good. Don't want to do that. So, I definitely keep up enough, but don't let it consume and make me a nasty person.
So let me respond to that and just say maybe because you are cool and hip, you keep up with
Mm.
all the cool and hip people. I was cool for 2 weeks in the 80s. It happened fast and then it was over.
Mm.
And so I don't keep that's not my people. All right. That's your people.
Hey, I think you're cool, Nick. And I've had several people, some of my friends who had never heard you speak before, or whatever, and they listen to the podcast. They're like, Nick is cool. Like, we
Oh
like
Lord.
Nick. And I'm like, see, he is cool.
Mm.
Another random question. Do you collect anything?
I collect two things, and I can now confess these things because I'm not pastoring. The first is very low scandal. I collect Starbucks mugs from around the world. So when I go to Prague, Czech Republic, I'll get a Prague coffee Starbucks mug. I've got them from like 20 countries or something like that. So when I go somewhere, I always pick one up. I also will collect. I started this when I was in Germany. I picked up a beer stein at an airport, and I find interesting different beer stein beer mugs from different places, and that's really the only two things I collect. But coffee in the morning, beer in the afternoon. And so I collect individual stuff. I mean, we're in Asheville, which is the Beer City, USA, independent breweries. And so they have so much unique independent stuff. And I love the different shapes of glasses. It's just fascinating to me, the different shapes they come up with. Do you collect anything?
Nice. I don't.
Earrings?
I think.
I mean, you
true.
always
Maybe
have a new
earrings.
pair of earrings on every time I see you.
I guess it would be earrings. I'm really into statement earrings. That's been years and years where I just always have different statement earrings. And I really love vintage t-shirts.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess those are two of my things. I went through all my t-shirts last week and I was like, I've got to get rid of them, but I can't let go, Nick. I can't let go.
It's okay.
But yeah, earrings and cool t-shirts, I guess.
That's cool. That's something cool to know about you.
Well, I feel like yours is much cooler, but thank you. Oh, here's a good one. What's the most embarrassing thing you've done on stage?
Okay, so I can't think of many things I've done embarrassing on stage. In 2020, when we were preaching outside, somebody said I used a cuss word. I don't remember using a cuss word. It might have been like crap or something like that. That's sort of a cuss word. You know what I'm saying? To them it was cuss word. To me it wasn't cuss word. And I was like, that's not my MO. I can't imagine that. But I can tell you one of the most embarrassing things I ever did. You ready?
Okay. Yes.
When I first came on staff as a pastor, I was not the senior pastor. I was one of his assistant pastors. And I was his confrontational guy. So anytime he needed something resolved, he said, go take care of this. And I did learn a lot of tact over the years of how to confront folks with love and compassion and all that. In the earlier days, I probably was not near as good, but I grew into it. And we had a little ministry school. And this little ministry school, I had two male students that were in the school that were spending the day shadowing me. And so my boss said, I want you to call this family. Them and a couple other families have been talking. There's some gossip going around. There's a mess. And I need you to go have a conversation, get them to stop. This is not the first time we've had to have this conversation with this family. So I need you to resolve this. I said, I'll resolve it. I'll take care of it. So I go to my office. I grab the ministry student and say, look, I got to make this phone call. I want you to listen into the phone call. I'm not going to say anything confidential on the phone call. I just want to set an appointment. So I hit the speaker button on my landline. And I dial their number, and it goes to their answering machine. And I said, "Hey, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, I need to talk to you. There seems to be something going on around this situation, and I heard that you had a conversation, and I really need to talk about that. That's just something that we need to resolve. I'm available most of the week. Just give me a call back, and we'll go from there." I hang up. And I look at the ministry students and I say, this is a really sensitive situation because this family has been in gossip many different times, caused lots of issues, and I have to resolve it. I love them, care about them, but they cannot keep acting like this. And I've got to do something about that. And as I'm talking, the phone goes beep, and I recorded every bit of that conversation on their answering machine. I didn't really hang up. And to this day, when I hear a beep, I start sweating. I remember the pain of recording. They stopped going to our church after that. I don't know why.
Wow. I've never heard that story.
Really?
No. I've never heard that one. That's a good one, Nick. That is good. That is good. Yeah. Wow. That's rich.
How about you?
Mine does involve a cuss word.
Really? Because you've been on the platform a lot. Since you were a little girl, you've been singing, you've been preaching, you've been doing. you've been on the platform a lot, so I'm really shocked that you have a bad one because once you've been on the platform, you get used to knowing what to watch out for.
Yes. So I was speaking at like it was like a women's conference kind of thing. And I was the guest speaker. This is a long time ago, like 2014 or 2015. And I had one of the headsets, which I call the Britney Spears mic. And I did my talk and finished up. And then I was supposed to go out the stage door. And when I went out the stage door, I thought I thought they would go ahead and mute me.
Yeah.
But when I went out the stage door, I like ran right into a bunch of music stands. And of course, I cussed because it hurt and it was loud.
What word did you use, young lady? Say it.
I said shit.
Sherry's going to have you for lunch.
It's better than other words that could have been used.
I know.
And I was like, and then I was like, oh my God, surely my mic was off. So I like come around the corner and the lady who had invited me to speak meets me backstage and she's like, your mic wasn't off. And she's like laughing and I'm like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh. And I was like, I'm so sorry. She's like, you're fine. It wasn't that loud, whatever. And I think she was just trying to be nice. Needless to say, I never got invited back to speak. But no one said anything bad. Like no one, I don't know. Maybe I'm hoping in my mind I justified it as there was so much rattle from the music stands that they didn't hear me say anything.
Hopefully so.
But, it was embarrassing then. Now whatever. It's fine.
It's a story. It's a scar. It's character.
Yeah, whatever. Were you a rebellious or obedient child?
Too obedient. With my childhood and in all, and hopefully we'll cover that at some point because I really have had a unique life. And but I really think I tried to earn approval with my first family and with my second family. And I feel like that it took me way too long to find my own way and disagree with my parents and be what I needed to be. So I was way too compliant. And I have a lot of grace and mercy for someone who's been compliant and doesn't know how to be an individual. So I would guess that you're the exact opposite.
I was, when it came to like school stuff, I was a great kid. Like, I never really got in trouble at school. The only thing I really got in trouble for was talking too much.
Imagine that.
Imagine. Now, and I didn't really get rebellious until I would probably say about my junior year of high school. And then that's, when I was like, let's sneak out or like this kind of stuff. And then my poor mama, like, I was butting heads with everybody, both my parents, but, and my siblings, like, I just had to 2 years, my junior and senior year, I was a little bit of a handful, but not anything. Definitely could have been worse, but
absolutely,
I would say was definitely on the rebellious side, but was always good at school. Like, always wanted to avoid getting in trouble at school. Because if I would have gotten in trouble at school, my father, oh my gosh, I don't even want to know. I would have had everything taken away for sure. So yeah. I like this question. How do you hope people feel when they are around you?
Well, this has changed in the last couple of years. I want them to feel heard. I'm really practicing every day looking for brilliance and looking for beauty. And when I see somebody exhibit that, I want to pause and say, hey, let me take a minute, tell you what I see in you, and just really reward them with affirmation. And so I just believe that every person is created in the image of God, has some brilliance, some beauty, and most never find it. They get rewarded for bringing home a paycheck or something, but they don't understand their uniqueness. And I really want, when people are around me, I want them to feel seen and heard and loved and celebrated. If I could create that with all my experiences, that's what I would want to have in each of these interactions I have with people. I don't know that I'm that successful yet, but I'm working that way.
Yeah. And I think you're excellent at that because that's something I definitely feel like I learned from you and something that I want to apply. My answer is pretty much the same as yours. Like, I want people to leave an interaction with me feeling valued and loved. And that, wow, somebody noticed this small thing or this effort that I'm putting in or whatever it may be. But definitely, to kind of sum that up, just I want people to feel valued and loved when they leave my presence.
I love that. I was with a person in domestic abuse this last week, and the person was really, really, really having a hard time. And Melanie Robertson, the person you mentioned earlier, was with me helping out, and she loved on her so well. And this person told me, she said, "I like your ring," and then later she said, "I love your shoes." And then she looked at Melanie and said, "You're really pretty." And
Mhm.
I stopped her before we left, and I said, "Ma'am," I said, "you're a good soul, and you're really kind." And she got almost upset with me because she is used to not being treated kindly. And she said, "How can you say that? You don't even know me." I said, "Well, you said this and you said this and you said this, and you didn't have to say that, but you were being very kind through your
Mhm.
trauma, through all the stuff you're working through." And it caught her so off guard. And I was like, "Papa, thank you. I really want to hear people, see people. I want them to feel known and loved. And I really want
Mhm.
to celebrate when they do noteworthy things." And those were noteworthy things. And she just couldn't see it because she saw all the other mess. And I just want to be a person that's a cheerleader for other people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because a lot of people don't have that. And
Yeah.
so if we can give that, I think it's an incredible gift.
Hmm.
Um, all right. Let's see here. We got a bunch more, but we're running out of time.
We
This
are
has
almost out of
flown
time, girl.
by.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Ooh, if you could live anywhere else in the world, where would it be and why?
Well, I thought it would be Seattle, Washington. That's one of the most fascinating cities because it's got the mountains and the ocean. It's got all kinds of people groups. It's got grunge, and yet it's got, high tech and all. It's just a really diverse community. But then when I struggled with depression in 2020, I said, I don't need the rainfall. I can't do that. If I were going to live anywhere else, it would have to be in a foreign country. And
Mm-hmm.
I would want, if I was going to move, I would want to probably Prague, Czech Republic. That's probably one of the most beautiful cities I've ever been to. I would probably go all out, move across the world, and I would just be a European, semi-English speaking, different culture kind of place. That's where I'd probably go. What about you?
I've never been here, but I'm so fascinated with Austria. I
Mm-hmm.
just think from the pictures that I've seen and from what I've heard of friends that have traveled there and the people there, I I would love to live over there. I think it sounds like it would just be I've never been, so maybe I would change my mind. But Austria sounds just lovely.
I've been, and I think it's what you think it is.
Oh,
And
good.
yeah, so that's interesting. They border each other, and I'm just like, okay, and we're gonna be neighbors. There you
We're
go.
gonna be neighbors. Oh my gosh, that's fine. We'll come say hello.
We have to
All
learn
right.
German and Czech, though.
Ooh, and Czech is hard language, and so is
I heard.
Polish. I've been learning a little bit of Polish, and it is so difficult. It is so difficult. Okay, we'll do one more like deeper question and then one more fun question to end it all up.
Okay, before we do that, can you say "I love
Yes.
you" in Polish?
No, I can't. You know, it's so funny. I
That
forgot
tells us all we need to
already.
know about your
I know.
relationship.
Well, but I do have a sweet name that I do call Adrian. And
Is it
that
Polish
so
though?
it is Polish. It's
King
Mishek.
Mishek.
Mishek
Interesting.
means so this is so funny. I met a girl um right around the time Adrian and I started dating and she was from Poland and I was like, what is something cute? Like what is a cute pet name or a loving term of endearment they use? And she's like, we like calling each other teddy bear. And I was
Uh huh.
like, that is so sweet. And she said, yeah, it's really easy too. So, because some of these Polish words are very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
She said, but it's Mishek. And so I call him Mishek sometimes.
We
Yeah,
just all got to know you a little bit better. Thank
I
you.
know. And Adrian's going to die that I shared that publicly.
Love it.
Love you. Um, okay, so deeper question here.
Okay.
What do you think holds people back from achieving their goals and dreams?
Fear. Fear of success. fear of putting themselves all the way out there and coming a little bit short, fear of disappointing people, fear of breaking the mold. I think fear is the greatest force that holds us back. I think it's the number one tactic to sabotaging ourselves. And I think most people are completely competent. I think they can set goals. I think they're disciplined enough. And I think that fear is the thing that keeps them from getting out of the box, breaking away from friends, doing something out of the mold, and going and achieving what they were created to achieve. So I would think that if I could deal with anything on behalf of mankind, it would be fear.
That's awesome. I agree. And then another thing that I feel like a lot of like holds people back is shame.
Oh, yeah. You
Shame
and
is
I have done some stuff
debilitating.
on shame, haven't we?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Because it is truly debilitating
Yep.
and will lie to you, will keep you held down, will keep you in a grip, just like fear will. And I think fear and shame work together very well against us to hold us back. And we'll probably do a whole podcast on shame, honestly, because so many people deal with it and it can ruin someone's life for sure.
That's a great idea because both of us have done the work of shame. Fear says you're going to fail. Shame
Mhm.
says you are a failure. And
Mhm.
and that's the bigger lie. I mean, I have a person in my life that her self-talk is so horrible that if she could change one thing, it would be the shameful conversation she has in her mind. That would change her outward world. And hopefully she's going to listen to this and say, were you talking about me? And go, yes, it was you. And so, because I think the world of her, but she just has a terrible,
Mhm. Yeah, let's shame have the microphone. All right. Last question.
last one.
Nick, you are asked to get up and sing a karaoke song flawlessly. You know every word, you know the tune, you know it like the back of your hand. You're doing it for $1 million. If you can sing this and give a performance of a lifetime, you will get $1 million. What is the song?
Oh my gosh, there's zero. I mean, I don't know any one song. I know parts of lots of songs, but like even the Marine Corps hymn, I've forgotten half of it. I no, I would probably pull out some Casey and the Sunshine Band and try to sing a couple
Okay.
lyrics and hope the crowd didn't know the right lyrics, and I would try to pull that one out.
Okay. Well,
I'm
you know
your
what?
boogeyman, that's what I am, and I'm here to do whatever I can. See, there's something I could do, but I would try to distract them with some 80s, late 70s Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Wow, that's great. I also love that you just sang a little bit. Before I answer, I do have a funny little anecdote.
Okay.
So when we would do music at our church, Nick always had his mic on and it was muted because he would go directly up after the music was finished and he would speak. And we would take the sound into the nursery space for like new moms. So it was just like this lovely little space where they could take care of their baby. And if the baby was crying, they could, just listen to the service and still take care of the baby with some privacy. And so we had a new family that was at our church. And I'm walking, I was always like running around, like kind of taking care of things as the service was happening. And I go into the foyer and this new mom comes out and she's got a baby and she's like, "Hi, so I'm over here in this little nursery space and I really appreciate you guys putting the music in there. It's so lovely. However, Nick's mic is on and it's very loud." And I was like, "What?" So I walk back there because I'm like, "What in the world?" Our sound tech had forgotten to mute Nick's mic in that room. It was muted in the sanctuary space, but it was in there. And so Nick's just like, yeah, la la, like he's singing, and like Nick is not a musician. What I just heard was probably the best you've ever sounded.
Isn't that funny?
And it was like so off key and it was so loud and like this woman's baby is screaming and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I will go take care of this." So like I run over to our sound tech and I'm like, "Nick's mic is on in the nursery space." And he's like, "Oh no." But it's just funny. So mine, I, of course, have a plethora. But currently, I think I would have to do Man, I Feel Like a Woman by Shania Twain. And Nick, you look like you don't know that song, and I'm going to need you to wrap this podcast up and go listen to it because it is a classic bop. It's what the kids call it. It's a bop. It's a great song. It's super fun. And yeah, everyone loves Shania Twain.
Number one, I know who Shania Twain is. I'd never heard of
Thank
that.
God.
Okay.
It's like her most popular song.
What's a bop?
A bop. It means it's just like it's a hit.
Okay.
It's a song that we all love. There we go.
I will listen to it by tomorrow.
And report back. It'll be
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, it would be a great song for you to run the lake to.
That's a great idea. I'll do that. So why don't you take 60 seconds? Tell them what they could expect in season 2 or what we're going to be doing in the next couple of weeks. Give us a closing, girl. We're closing out season 1. We're getting ready for season 2. Tell us.
All right, guys, we are going to be working on a lot of stuff. Yes, there won't be episodes coming out for the next 2 months, but we're working on all kinds of new things. So, first and foremost, you will be seeing a lot more interaction and things to interact with on social media. So if you're not following our Facebook and Instagram, go do it now. You don't want to miss out. There's going to be some new things that we are going to be doing while we're getting ready for season 2. We are also going to be doing, I don't even know what to call it yet, an interactive Zoom where you guys can sign up and register for our Zoom. And we're going to do basically like a live show that will not go out. You guys can ask questions from any of the 15 episodes. They can be deep or they can be lighthearted, or you can just share kind of your experience with it. And so please be looking for that. We'll have dates and times. I think we might do 2 of these, one in November, one in December, and see how they go. And like I said, we'll be giving out all that information, so make sure you're following all of our socials. We are also going to be interviewing people in season 2. We are gearing up. We are getting episodes already planned. And if you submitted other topic ideas, don't worry. Just come back for season 2, baby. It's going to be here. But yeah, we've got new ground. We got some controversial stuff. We got some intense stuff, but also some other practical life things that we're going to be doing. And again, you can email us. Let's process that podcast at gmail.com. Always you can DM us on our socials. We're happy to talk and interact more and more with you guys. So make sure you're all plugged in. Nick, is there anything that I missed?
You always do a great job. If people just interact with us, we'll get better. It's going to be a great season. As you and I talked about it, the next 2 months we're working on the podcast and just not working in the podcast. We're figuring out 5-10 ways to get better, and then we're going to come back and take it to a new level.
Hey, we're excited. All right. So again, if you guys have not, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go ahead and like us, comment, all the things, because that helps you stay connected, but that also helps other people see our stuff. Share this podcast with your friends, your family, coworkers, etc. And we look forward to seeing you in season 2. Have a good one.
See you, everyone.